He left her stranded at a highway rest stop on their wedding anniversary. What he didn't know was that she'd been recording everything for months. And what she uncovered sent him to prison for 14 years. This is the story of Maya Rivera. A woman who spent 10 years married to a monster disguised as a successful businessman. A woman who everyone thought was just another victim of emotional abuse. But Maya was playing a different game. While her husband thought he was in control, she was quietly building the case that would destroy him. And when the truth finally came out, it didn't just end his marriage. It ended his freedom. Let me take you back to where it all started going wrong. Or maybe where it started going right, depending on how you look at it. Maya Rivera met Daniel when she was 26. She was working as a marketing consultant, making good money, living her own life. Daniel was 32, a hedge fund manager with a corner office and a smile that could sell anything. He was charming. He was generous. He swept her off her feet in that way that romance movies make you think is normal but is actually the first red flag. They got married after dating for 2 years. Big wedding. Expensive honeymoon. All her friends said she was lucky. And for a little while, Maya believed them. But then the changes started. Small at first. Daniel suggested she quit her job because she was stressed. He said he made enough money for both of them, so why should she work herself to death? It sounded caring. It sounded like he wanted to take care of her. So she quit. Then he started giving her an allowance. He called it their budget. He said it would help them save for a house, for kids, for the future. But really, it was control. Every time Maya wanted to buy something, she had to ask. Every purchase was questioned. Every dollar was monitored. Her friends started noticing she was different. She stopped going out as much. She stopped posting on social media. When they called, Daniel would answer her phone and say she was busy. When they invited her to events, he'd make plans that conflicted. Slowly, quietly, he cut her off from everyone who cared about her. Her family saw it too. Her brother Adrian tried to talk to her about it. He'd been in the military and worked in security, so he knew manipulation when he saw it. But Maya defended Daniel. She made excuses. She said Adrian didn't understand their relationship. That's what abuse does. It makes you defend your abuser. For years, this was her life. Daniel controlled the money. He controlled her time. He controlled her reality. He told her she was lucky to have him because nobody else would put up with her. He said she was too emotional, too sensitive, too difficult. He made her believe she was the problem. But here's the thing about Maya that Daniel never understood. She wasn't weak. She was watching. She was learning. And she was waiting for the right moment. The turning point came on their 10th wedding anniversary. Daniel told Maya they were going out for a special dinner. He drove them out of the city, saying he wanted to take her somewhere romantic. Maya was excited. Maybe things were getting better. Maybe he was changing. They stopped at a highway rest stop. Daniel said he needed to use the bathroom. Maya waited in the car. 5 minutes passed. Then 10. Then 20. She got out and looked around. His car was gone. He had left her. On their anniversary. At a rest stop in the middle of nowhere. With no phone because he controlled that too. With no money because he controlled that too. A woman at the rest stop let Maya use her phone. She called Adrian. He drove 2 hours to pick her up. And on that drive home, something inside Maya snapped. Not in a breaking way. In a waking up way. Daniel came home 3 days later like nothing happened. He said he needed to teach her a lesson about being grateful. He said she'd been acting entitled lately and needed to remember who took care of her. He actually smiled when he said it. Maya didn't yell. She didn't cry. She just nodded. And that's when she started planning. She reached out to Adrian first. Told him everything. Not just about the rest stop, but about the years of control, the isolation, the verbal abuse. Adrian didn't say "I told you so." He said, "What do you need?" What Maya needed was evidence. Because she knew Daniel. He was smart. He was careful. He would never just let her leave with anything. If she tried to divorce him normally, he'd hide assets, drain accounts, and leave her with nothing. She needed to be smarter. Adrian installed hidden cameras in the house. Small ones that looked like smoke detectors, phone chargers, picture frames. Maya started keeping a notebook of every incident. Every insult. Every threat. Every time Daniel lost his temper. She documented it all with dates and times. But she needed more than just proof of emotional abuse. She needed something bigger. That's when she reconnected with Lucia. They'd been friends in college but had lost touch after Maya married Daniel. Lucia was a forensic accountant now, the kind of person who found hidden money for divorce lawyers. Maya told her about Daniel's business and asked if she could look into it. What Lucia found was explosive. Daniel wasn't just controlling. He was stealing. From his own clients. From his hedge fund. He'd been moving money into offshore accounts for years, hiding it in shell companies with fake names. Millions of dollars that should have been managed for his clients were disappearing into accounts only he could access. Maya couldn't believe it. She knew Daniel was controlling. She knew he was emotionally abusive. But she didn't know he was a criminal. Lucia showed her the paper trail. Transfers that didn't make sense. Companies registered in countries with no extradition treaties. Wire transfers labeled as business expenses that went nowhere legitimate. It was all there. Daniel had been building his escape plan for years. He was going to take the money and run, probably with someone else, leaving his clients and Maya to deal with the fallout. That's when Maya brought in Elena. Elena was a lawyer who specialized in domestic abuse cases and financial crimes. She was known for being ruthless in court and for never backing down. When Maya showed her the evidence, Elena smiled. She said, "This is more than a divorce case. This is a criminal case." They started building the file. Lucia tracked every dollar. Adrian's cameras caught Daniel on recordings admitting things he'd never say in public. Maya documented everything he said to her, every manipulation, every lie. And then they found Chloe. Chloe was Daniel's assistant. Young, ambitious, and apparently sleeping with him for the past 3 years. Maya had suspected something was going on, but Daniel always called her paranoid. Turns out she was right. Elena approached Chloe carefully. She told her that Daniel was going down and that Chloe could either go down with him or help herself. Chloe chose to help herself. She admitted to the affair. She provided emails where Daniel talked about his plans. She even had text messages where he joked about leaving Maya stranded at the rest stop before he did it. But the evidence kept getting worse. Maya discovered that her own sister, Sophia, had been helping Daniel. Sophia had a gambling problem and owed money to some dangerous people. Daniel had been paying off her debts in exchange for information about Maya. Every time Maya confided in her sister, Sophia reported back to Daniel. Every time Maya made a plan, he knew about it because Sophia told him. That betrayal hurt more than anything Daniel had done. And then came the biggest revelation. Daniel had a son. A 6-year-old boy named Alex with a woman named Rachel. Daniel had been supporting them secretly for years, using stolen money from his clients. Rachel didn't know the money was stolen. She thought Daniel was just a wealthy man taking care of his child. When Elena contacted her and explained where the money was coming from, to testify. She provided bank statements, emails, everything. She said she never would have accepted the money if she'd known it was stolen. The trial was brutal. Daniel walked into that courtroom thinking he was untouchable. He had expensive lawyers. He had a reputation. He had connections. He thought he could charm his way out of anything like he always did. But Elena came prepared. She started with the cameras. Footage of Daniel screaming at Maya, calling her worthless, threatening to make sure she ended up with nothing. Footage of him on the phone bragging to someone about how he'd left her at the rest stop and how she came back like a dog. The jury watched in silence. Then came the financial evidence. Lucia testified about the offshore accounts, the shell companies, the millions in stolen funds. She brought charts and graphs that made it impossible to deny. The prosecution showed wire transfers with Daniel's authorization. They showed emails where he told Chloe to create fake invoices to cover the transfers. Chloe testified next. She admitted to the affair. She read text messages out loud where Daniel called Maya pathetic and said he was just waiting for the right time to disappear. She cried on the stand, saying she didn't know he was stealing from clients and that she thought he was just an unhappy husband. Rachel testified about Alex. About the money Daniel sent every month. About how he'd told her it was from his legitimate business. About how she felt used when she found out the truth. And then Maya testified. She walked up to that stand with her notebook. 10 years of documentation. She read entries out loud. Dates when Daniel told her she was worthless. Times when he screamed at her for spending $20. Incidents where he threatened to make sure she'd never see a penny if she left. She talked about the rest stop. About how he left her there with nothing. About how he laughed when he came home. She didn't cry. She didn't yell. She just told the truth. Daniel's lawyers tried to paint Maya as bitter and vindictive. They said she was just an angry wife trying to destroy her husband. But the evidence was overwhelming. The jury wasn't buying it. The verdict came back in 4 hours. Guilty on all counts. Embezzlement. Wire fraud. Money laundering. Financial abuse. The judge sentenced him to 14 years in federal prison. No parole for the first 7. Daniel's face went white. He looked at Maya across the courtroom. She looked back at him with no expression at all. Just calm. Just certainty. He'd spent 10 years trying to break her. And in the end, she's the one who broke him. Maya walked out of that courtroom a free woman in every sense of the word. Daniel's assets were seized to pay back his clients. Maya got nothing from him financially, but she didn't need it. She'd already started rebuilding her life during the trial. She founded the Ashes Rise Foundation. It's a nonprofit organization that helps women trapped in financially and emotionally abusive relationships. They provide legal support, financial education, emergency housing, and therapy. Adrian handles security. Lucia manages the books. Elena provides legal services. They work together to help women escape situations like the one Maya survived. The foundation's name says it all. Ashes rise. Because sometimes you have to burn everything down to build something better. Maya reconnected with her friends. She cut off contact with Sophia permanently because some betrayals can't be forgiven. She started therapy to work through the years of manipulation and abuse. She began living the life Daniel tried to take from her. And in her office at the foundation, hanging in a simple frame, is a letter Daniel wrote from prison. It's bitter and angry. He blames Maya for everything. He calls her manipulative and cruel. He says she destroyed his life. Maya calls it her trophy. Because it's proof that she won. Some people might think revenge is ugly. But this wasn't revenge. This was justice. Daniel didn't go to prison because Maya was vindictive. He went to prison because he committed crimes. He stole from his clients. He laundered money. He abused his wife for a decade. Maya just made sure he got caught. Her story isn't about being a victim. It's about being patient. It's about being strategic. It's about waiting for the right moment and then striking with everything you have. Daniel thought he was teaching Maya lessons. But the only lesson here is that underestimating someone is the fastest way to lose to them. Maya didn't just survive. She built an empire out of her pain. She turned betrayal into purpose. She took the worst decade of her life and used it to help hundreds of other women escape their own nightmares. That's power. Real power. Not the fake control Daniel used to manipulate her, but the actual power that comes from turning suffering into strength. Today, Maya lives in a house she bought herself. She drives a car she chose. She spends money she earned. She surrounds herself with people who actually care about her. And every day, she helps other women realize they have the same strength she found. Daniel sits in a federal prison cell counting down 14 years. His reputation is destroyed. His career is over. His freedom is gone. And all because he made one critical mistake. He thought Maya was weak. If this story hit you,